Hola. It is Sunday. It is the Sunday rant. And it is me, John. Actually, I'll come clean. This is being pre-recorded. It's actually Saturday. But this week, I was watching something on the way into work. And I quite often watch other YouTube bloggers on music tech and other things. And there's a number of guys I love watching. And I watched this particular well-known channel from a chap who lives in Norway. So that should give you a clue who it is. Anyway, one of the video he did was about physical instruments versus virtual instruments. And I pretty much agreed with everything he said. I'm one of these people that loves to play with an instrument. I like the physical touch of the instrument. I like my fingers to be on the keys. I like buttons to press. I like to read very, very small LCD screens that have no information on them. And I like to produce the sound. And it is very true what was said, in fact, that a piece of hardware is up and running very, very quickly. You switch it on, you wait for the relay to go, and then you know you're there to be able to play sounds. And when I say the relay, quite often especially on the higher end keyboards, the sound doesn't engage until there's like a relay inside that actually switches the power to the jacks. And you quite often hear a click, and that's that relay. Anyway, that's my preference, and that's probably the reason why I'm such a prolific collector of equipment, because I love the physical feel of equipment. That doesn't mean I don't use VSTs, because I do. When I travel and I'm trying to do stuff when I travel, then I quite often will have a VST run up. But a VST to me is no substitute for a physical keyboard. And quite often, one of the things you find here is you find musicians fall into several camps. They're either the physical side of it or they're the VST side of it. And quite often, those that are in the virtual world, I don't know how to put this, quite often they poo-poo the physical. Why do you need all that equipment? You need a MIDI controller and this VST and that VST. And that's all well and good. But VSTs run on hardware, and hardware has an operating system, and that operating system is beyond your control. And I've had experiences in the past, and I can think of one specific going back a few years now, when I was running a PC with Windows 7 on it, and that PC all of a sudden in the middle of a gig decided it was going to reboot. And it did. It locked up and rebooted, and I stood there like a complete lemon for 5 minutes while it rebooted. And the reason why I stood there like a complete lemon for 5 minutes is because the PC was generating all the sound, and all I was using was a master MIDI keyboard. And it I came away from that saying, never again. It actually was one of the reasons why I actually bought a Mac, if I'm honest. Because when I then bought a Mac, which is far more reliable than a Windows PC, yes, I know everyone's shouting at the screen, you should have bought a Mac in the first place, but I was never a Mac fan, and I have truly been converted to Macintosh for music and video production. However, for other things, unfortunately, the Microsoft machine still rules the roost. So there you go. So, from my point of view, yes, they're brilliant, and they're brilliant composition tools. But give me a piece of hardware every day, and if that means lugging it around in a heavy case, then you know what? I'll lug it around in a heavy case, because to be honest, these things very rarely go wrong. Anyway, the other thing that happened this week was well, I went to pick some equipment up. Yes, I bought some more equipment. Yes, I know. And there's the typical story here, which is don't bid for things on eBay after you've had a couple of gins. Now, I was out, and seeing as I wasn't driving for once, I was sitting in a particular place, and I was scrolling through eBay on my iPad, as you do, and this item came up, and I did my normal stick in a cheeky bid and forget about it, because sometimes cheeky bids work, and this time it did work. So I found myself acquiring turn it around. Yeah, can you see that? This is a Roland P330 tone module. And I have to be honest and say, I know very little about the Roland P330 tone module. Normally I do quite a lot of research before I go ahead and buy things, but on this occasion I didn't. It was a sort of a bit of a drunken punt bid. And I acquired this, for tens of pounds, not very expensive. And I went and picked it up this week. Now, what is really fantastic about this is that if you look at it, there is not, apart from my grubby finger marks, a mark on it. It has a standard 2 1/4-inch jack out and the ability to move the signal from low to high, and obviously standard 3 MIDI ports there. But other than that, I know very, very little about this particular unit. I will be plugging it in shortly. It hasn't even seen a MIDI cable or a power cord, or it's not been plugged in, should I say. So I know very little about this, but that was it, and it's pristine. It's actually come in its own box, so I've got the original P330 box, and actually looking at the side of the box, let me just pick it up. So looking at the side of the box, there you go, you can see it's still got the original piece of paper with the serial number on it. Go work that out. But the other thing that was really interesting, clonk bang, I'll put that back on the floor, is the fact that the book that came with it. So this is the instruction manual. It's a typical Roland instruction manual of the time, same sort of layout as Roland's manuals always do. But if I do that and you look at how dog-eared this book is, it's actually pretty much in pristine condition. Now, the guy who sold it to me told me that he put it in his studio and had hardly used it. It's been sitting locked away in a rack for the past 4 or 5 years. So thank you very much. I will take that. Now, what I didn't realise when I saw it, because obviously the headline was P330 Roland P330 piano module, was the fact that it actually came with a U220 and a U110. Again, that one's got the serial number on both ends as well. So I've now acquired 2 more of those, which I don't need because I've already got those in the studio. So I think they will be going back on eBay, and with a bit of luck, given how much I paid for the P330, I should be able to sell those onto a nice new home and actually end up having cost me no money. Now, isn't that brilliant? I think that's a good deal, even if I was a bit well, I can't remember, was I 2 or 3 gins down at the time? Oh well. Now, the last thing this week is sitting over here. As you see, there's a brown box, and in the brown box are loads of cellophaned plastic. Now, these are not what you think they are. Yes, they do look a bit suspicious, but they're not. What these are discs for a Roland sound library. In this case, it is the S-50 sound library. Now, I have I have quite a lot of sound library discs for the S-550, and the architecture between the two is slightly differently. Even though they were sort of billed as it was the rack mount equivalent of the S-50, in actual terms it wasn't. The S-550 is actually a better device than the S-50, and as you know, I bought the S-50 for a friend stroke client, and they have decided they don't want it, so I've got the S-50 and S-50, and it needs doing up. But I thought I'd buy the sound bank for it anyway, and I got these at an extremely good deal. The guy who sold them to me in the US was very, very reasonable, given what these things actually are. I mean, these would have gone for, you know, I don't know, £20, £30 a disc in the day. So, you know, they're good value, and I've got pretty much entire 50 series. So this was the RSB 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. in that series of discs. And there's one, there's two, again you can see that, and there's another 3 packages I haven't opened yet. I will give the person who's packaged these up their due. They have done an extremely good job at packaging them up, to the point that it actually is taking me a period of time to try and actually get through the packaging to get the discs out. They will be going into the disc library shortly, and there will be an announcement about the disc library in a few months, I think. When I get there, I know I keep promising this, but it's actually finding the right format and the right medium to actually allow me to publish this stuff out. I'm looking for a couple of things. I've got to make sure the platform's right for what I want to do with it, and a couple of what you think are the right platforms, you find that they have problems with their video streaming and e-commerce engines, and I don't really want to pay too much because this is not really meant to be a commercial venture. So we'll see where we go with that, but eventually I probably will land on the right platform to make this happen, and some time as well, which is something that is incredibly fleeting at the moment, having time to actually do the things I want to do. Anyway, on that note, it is too hot, still too hot, and I am going to leave you to it and say I will see you next time. Bye bye. So it's that point where I say, did you enjoy it? Because if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. I'm sure by now, if you didn't enjoy it, you've given this video a thumbs down. That's just life. Not everybody enjoys everything, and I recognise that. Over here somewhere is a subscribe button. If you press the subscribe button, every time I upload content to the channel, you'll get a notification. I know I upload videos like this, which is sort of the rant. I upload videos about mailbag items, which is where you or your friends or other YouTubers have left comments on the channel about specific pieces of equipment, and I try to answer those. And I also do videos about the equipment that is within my studio, how to use it, how to take it apart, and sometimes how to repair it. That's what you get from subscribing. It'd be wonderful to see you as a subscriber at some point. Over here will be 2 videos. One will always be the latest video that I've published to the channel. Another video will be selected at random from the channel based on your preferences by a YouTube algorithm, but it will always be a video from my channel. All that's left for me to do is say I hope to see you again soon, and bye bye.